Well, come here then. Good morning. You want to say good morning to the people in the camera? It's a pretty good start to the day. Just gonna rub on her here. I always like to alternate. I like to kind of keep balance in my sessions to where start by just catching them, hanging out with them, rubbing on them, spend a little time with them, because we don't want to have them to think that the first thing we do every time we come in the pen is we make a move. They want to be easy to catch. So you guys saw she came right up to me. That's the best that she's come up to me thus far. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to walk over here. I'm just rubbing her with my hand here. I got my saddle pad in my other hand, and then I'm just gonna rub her with this pad first. I've considered just kind of laying it up there like she's worn it her whole life, but there we go. I just wanted to rub her first with it because you saw that she would have raised her head just a slight bit before I went ahead and put that on there. You know, and you guys will hear, and you'll see these horses, and you'll hear me talk about the concern that is part of the learning process, and it's our job to acknowledge the concern and then help the horses work through it. But it's not to be avoided. We're just trying not to create more than they're going to go through. I'm going step by step to help mitigate as much concern as possible. So I'm really proud of how this little mare's going. Really, really proud of how she's going. So we're gonna keep breaking this saddling process. I think we're getting really damn close to the saddling, but I'm using the surcingle and the saddle pad just as a way to, and I'm just being pretty casual as I can. That right side is her less confident side, all right? And this always gets caught on the damn saddle pad. Every time I try to pull it up over on this side, it grabs right here, and then it pulls up this blanket. So I just like to come over here. I'm going to rub her with it. I'm going to be pretty casual, or almost I would go past casual and be a little reckless. It doesn't look like Hannah used that this morning, which is handy. Our horses are shaped two different ways, and Hannah's needs a whole lot more holes with the surcingle. So right down here, grab this. I really like, I'm just watching her expression. You know, again, and then when I'm going to cinch her up here, I could go tighter, but I'm not going to. I'm just getting this just snug enough to where it's going to stay. I don't want, because I said that she could be one that could get a little upset with and like express herself through her mouth. Like we've been slowly integrating a jaw release to help her release tension through her mouth, but also you see horses that behaviorally will reach around and bite when you go to cinch them up, and the way that I can prevent her from even going down that path is just to go slow. So I don't anticipate this to take a hell of a lot of time, but I'm gonna step in here. I just grab my milk jug just like it's normal, because it's not. And I'm just gonna reach in here and rub her with this milk jug here. Video is not sponsored by Great Value Walmart brand, but that is what we buy, and I drink a fair bit of milk, so we had a few extra milk jugs. So, all right, so I've got my milk jug attached. Just gonna take her for a little bit of a trip here. This is her more confident side. This is obviously, like, I don't normally do this, right? But I feel like if I do take the time, I won't regret it, right? Life's about no regrets. So I've got this, and this is where I started with it. It's a little higher. You guys can see it's at the top of her shoulder or right at the base of the saddle pad. And so I'm gonna step in here. I'm gonna go to yield the hindquarters. I'm gonna step in, just see if I can get on a bit of a smaller circle. Good. No fuss there. You'll notice, if you guys have been into any of our content outside of behind the scenes, you know that I don't believe in desensitizing these horses. I'm not a big fan of desensitizing, and because particularly these Mustangs are very sensitive. They have to be to survive. So I'm not trying to desensitize her. I'm trying to build her confidence with this type of stimulus and these things happening. I don't want her to become dull. If she becomes dull to this, then things get really dangerous, because then she becomes non-responsive. So I want to be able to redirect and direct like her thought process and how she feels and thinks about things, to where she can be successful in a domesticated environment. So as I'm standing here, one of the main things that I want to work on next is I'm actually going to utilize one of these milk jugs, but I want to get her prepared for the stirrups swinging over her back and then touching her in the offside. So that's going to be the next thing that we have not worked on, that I really do want to make sure we check out, because she has been really reactive, and that first saddling, I really want to just take the precautionary measures to help her feel like she can stay. But what I really want to do here is get her to be really comfortable with, and I'm going to determine how do I want to saddle her, because usually when I saddle colts, I'll saddle them from the right side, from their right side, so that I can go ahead and now, one thing I didn't think about was the sand that was going to jiggle. That could be interesting. I guess if we get her used to that, she'll be fine to saddle, I can tell you that. So I've been putting the surcingle on the left side just because that's what normally is going to happen, but I will make sure that I can saddle my horses from both sides. And when I got to throw this over there, I'm trying not to you notice that's me the same thing the stirrup does. It's not going to come up her neck like that, but this is about the preparation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen that surcingle, and then I'm just going to slide it back a little bit and pick it up here. I'm not going to tighten it right here because that wouldn't be a smart thing to do, but I do want her to feel something just like my back cinch. You know, don't go looking for trouble, but don't skip steps. And so I might do something similar like I did with the saddle pad. I might just walk around with it. I'm not going to get into a rush. Might be able to just step in here and rub on her. You know, if I go through a very similar process of everything with everything, where I really need kind of just a saddle that we use just for the first saddling. Obviously I'm not planning on getting on her right this second. I like that reaction, or lack thereof. So I'm just going to go through and just kind of have it here. And if I go through the similar process that I did with the saddle pad, that I've done with a lot of the other objects, where I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm just gonna carry this thing with me, and then not make a fuss about it. And it's taken me a while to learn this. Then she can just kind of get comfy. I'm just watching her body, seeing like, does anything get tight? You know, anything like that? No. And so I just step in here, get my lead rope to this side. She raised her head up because I lifted my hand up. I just reach up here and rub on her. You want to be short enough that if they got to walking, you could keep them there. Just like that. And so I'm going to turn her loose. And the reason I'm going to turn her loose is because I have influence over her, but if she gets enough concern, reasonably so, that that's attached to her, and she feels like she needs to hop around here a little bit, there's no sense in me pulling on her because there's not much that I'm going to be able to do when she's in that state of mind. But so I'd like to believe that I have that much influence, but I also have to respect Mother Nature. I'm trying to keep my energy as calm. I'll be lying if my heart rate doesn't go up a little bit. I probably should work on that when I go to do those first saddlings on these Mustangs a little bit, because I know that it can be a very important moment in their experience. So I do my best to kind of go into that internal meditation, and it honestly helps me to coach you guys and help show you guys what's going on, because then I can kind of stay in the zone. I stay really focused on what I'm doing, and I remember to breathe. So what I might do, guys, is that round pin that Hannah's just in is a little bit bigger. So I'm just gonna split these gates and let her go into this other round pin where she's gonna have a little bit more room to move. We'll open it wide enough, and you guys probably watch her walk through. We'll just keep the camera rolling, and we'll put her in there because I want her to trot. Hi there. I know. Now's not the time to get concerned. That's what I said. Yeah. All right. So we're going to split these gates and get her in this other round pin. There's just a little more room for her to move around. What are the chances she tries to go through there?
Stand there.
Yeah, you just stand right there. So our round pins have kind of shifted a little bit as we've been working with everything. She looks caged. What are you doing? Let's send her around here. Yeah. No, that's the wrong direction. Not exactly. Hot damn. Make sure that camera's pointed over there. What are you doing? I have standing here. Get the camera over there. Well, you guys probably missed some of that. Missed a little bit, but she just decided she'd try to pass this end here and picked up a little speed. She got a little unsure about going through that gap. All right, so I wanted her in this pin here because it's a little bit bigger for her to move. There, she's gonna trot, sit back. She's pretty handy with those feet. I'm really kind of hoping she don't grab my stirrups. And as important as the saddling is, the unsaddling is really important as well. So we're going to send her here to the right so she can keep everything on the inside. You know, this more uncertain side, that stirrup there. The stirrups have action to them. So that's a very similar reaction she had with the milk jugs the first time, where she kind of wants to kick out at that outside. Just staying in driving position, giving her somewhere to go all the time. There was a more consistent run where she stayed nice and relaxed through there. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna go ahead and unclip her here, and she's gonna hang out in here for a little while, and I'm gonna bring her some water, and then we'll just kind of keep going through our day, and I'll be stepping in here intermittently to kind of just go back through that groundwork, just really focusing on letting her move, feel that saddle, and